Cowboys Nation, this is it. The kind of move that could change everything. The Dallas Cowboys are sitting on the edge of something massive, something that could redefine their defense and reignite their Super Bowl dreams. The name at the center of it all? Maxx Crosby. The Las Vegas Raiders' relentless warrior, their heart, their chaos engine, and the exact kind of player that could turn this Cowboys defense from struggling to unstoppable. Reports across the league are heating up. Multiple teams have reached out to the Raiders about a possible trade for Crosby. And while Vegas isn't openly shopping him, they're not slamming the door either. That's all the opening a team like Dallas needs. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Jerry Jones over the years, it's that when he smells opportunity, especially one that can elevate his team from good to elite, he's not afraid to go all in. And make no mistake, this is one of those moments. Let's face it, this Cowboys defense has lost its identity. The front line that once struck fear into quarterbacks is now a shadow of what it used to be. The run defense has crumbled, giving up nearly 5 yards per carry on outside runs, and the pass rush has lacked consistency and bite. Without Micah Parsons, there's no signature player setting the tone up front, no leader bringing the energy or the fear. That's exactly why Maxx Crosby is the perfect fit. He's not just a pass rusher, he's a complete defensive end. He doesn't disappear when it's 3rd and 1 or gets schemed out by double teams. He stays in the game, dominates from whistle to whistle, and forces offenses to account for him every single snap. Crosby is built different. We're talking about a 3-down defensive end who plays with pure fire, taking 90% of defensive snaps without slowing down. He's got 52 career sacks, over 100 quarterback hits, and a motor that doesn't quit. Raiders fans call him Mad Max for a reason. He's chaos in shoulder pads. And for Dallas, that kind of relentless, disciplined violence off the edge is exactly what's missing. Now, I know what some fans are thinking. Why not just keep Micah Parsons? Here's the truth. Parsons and Crosby are not the same kind of player. Micah was a hybrid, an explosive linebacker who could rush the passer but wasn't built to anchor a line for 60 snaps. Crosby is. He's the foundation. Parsons was flash. Crosby is substance. Parsons could change a game with a single play. Crosby can control one for 4 quarters. And right now, that's what this Dallas defense needs: control, discipline, and leadership. Let's look at the numbers. When you line up Crosby's production against Parsons and normalize it per game, the difference is striking. Crosby holds the edge in tackles for loss, run stops, and overall impact per down. He doesn't need to be rotated out. He doesn't need favorable matchups. He just grinds, week after week, snap after snap. You don't coach that kind of endurance. You either have it or you don't. Now, imagine this. Maxx Crosby lining up on one edge, James Houston attacking from the other, Kenny Clark anchoring the interior, and Osa Odigizua bringing that burst up the middle. That's not just a defensive line. That's a storm. That's chaos for every quarterback in the NFC. And under Brian Schottenheimer's leadership, this defense could go back to being what it once was, a unit that sets the tone, not one that's constantly having to recover from its own mistakes. This move wouldn't just fix a hole, it would redefine the Cowboys' defensive identity. Think about it. Last year, Dallas was known for collapsing under pressure in the trenches. They'd make stops early, then fade late. They'd bring heat on one drive, then disappear for the next. With Crosby, that stops. He brings an accountability that spreads through the locker room. When you watch Crosby play, you see it. He doesn't just dominate his matchup, he ignites everyone around him. That's contagious energy, the kind that elevates a defense from surviving to suffocating opponents. Now let's talk about the reality of this trade. It's not going to be cheap. The Raiders extended Crosby for 3 years and over $106 million. He's their best player, their captain, their symbol of toughness. But Las Vegas is sinking fast in the AFC West. Their rebuild is looming, and they know that cashing in on Crosby now could bring a haul of draft picks that accelerates that process. That's the leverage Dallas can use, offering the picks, maybe even a rotational player, to land a generational pass rusher who's still in his prime. And Jerry Jones? This is the kind of move he lives for, the kind of bold, legacy-defining swing that makes headlines across the league. He's got the money, he's got the draft capital. What he needs is the will to pull the trigger. Because if he does, the Cowboys go from an inconsistent, top-heavy defense to one of the most dangerous fronts in the NFL. Crosby's leadership also fills a void that's been missing since DeMarcus Lawrence's prime. He's emotional, vocal, and driven. He's the kind of guy who doesn't just play hard, he expects everyone else to match his energy. That's exactly what Brian Schottenheimer's defense needs right now. A tone setter, a standard bearer, a guy who refuses to let effort dip no matter the score. And don't underestimate the ripple effect this trade would have. With Crosby commanding double teams, the linebackers would finally get clean lanes to attack. The secondary, which has been picked apart because of the lack of pressure, would finally have time to breathe. Corners wouldn't have to cover for 4 or 5 seconds at a time. Safeties could actually anticipate instead of react. That's how one player changes everything. This move screams win now. The Cowboys have the offense. Dak Prescott is playing with poise, the line is protecting, the run game is working, and receivers like George Pickens are proving they can shoulder the load. But that offense can't keep bailing out a defense that's still finding itself. Dallas has a window, and in the NFL, windows don't stay open long. You either seize them or you watch them close. Cowboys Nation, the time to act is now. Maxx Crosby isn't just another trade rumor. He's a chance to put the star where it belongs, on a defense that dominates, dictates, and decides games. If Dallas lands Crosby, we're not just talking about a playoff push, we're talking about a legitimate Super Bowl contender. So what do you think, Cowboys fans? Should Jerry make the call? Should Dallas go all in on Maxx Crosby and finally give this defense the edge it's been missing? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if you believe this team has to go for it, and make sure you subscribe to Dallas Game Day for more breaking news, analysis, and reactions. Because one thing's for sure, if Maxx Crosby comes to Dallas, this defense won't just wake up, it'll roar back to life. And the rest of the NFL better be ready for the storm.